Hi folks, Puffin here with another Antifa News Briefa. It is August 12th, 2021. And this one's about Rudy Giuliani. Why am I talking about Rudy Giuliani? And Jayden X, the Trumpsurrectionist who stormed the Capitol, John Sullivan. And the whole Psyops operation. The best way I can describe it is, you know those rap battles they would have sometimes where they have like a beef between rappers to get each other attention? They're not really mad at each other, but they create it in the music industry. It's similar to that. Okay, everybody knows Rudy Giuliani is a Trumper, total Trumper. Most people, I think, realize now that he's also a Russian agent. But they know that everybody knows he's a total Trumper. No one's denying that. He's not denying that. Trump's not denying that. Everybody knows Rudy Giuliani is a total Trumper. And most people know that means he's also a Russian agent, or he just is in his own right anyway. Jayden X claims to play both sides or something like this. He's a Trumper too. I'll let you know that right now. But they're working together, and the reason I'm doing a video right now about Jayden X is, for one, because I was already going to do one, because he was doing something about how he's Antifa or whatever, and for two, when I saw this video, it was about him responding to Rudy Giuliani's video about him. Rap battle. Lamest rap battle in history, but that type of thing. Now, I'm not going to show you the picture-in-picture of Jayden X watching Rudy Giuliani talking about him, because for a while it was for three reasons, I'll tell you. For three reasons. For one, because I'm not a Russian agent. I don't have the equipment to show you this stuff. I don't have a bunch of fancy equipment. For two, because I wouldn't subject you to that. Like, Rudy Giuliani was not only big on the screen most of the time, and Jayden X small in the corner with another little Rudy Giuliani in the corner. I wouldn't subject you to two Rudy Giulianis and a Jayden X just to see one of me, even if I could, because it was terrible. But and for the third reason, I watched 23 minutes of his hour and 20 minute long video. And I went to do something else, had something better to do, and that was deleted or taken down or made private or whatever. It wasn't available anymore, so I couldn't show it to you if I wanted to because it's not there. But I wanted to go ahead and tell you what I saw in it when it's fresh in my mind. And it's the same stuff I expected to see in it. I mean, it's the whole thing is about Rudy Giuliani picking apart some stuff that Jayden X tweeted out before the Trumpsurrection on January 6th, saying, this is this Antifa guy planning it. This is how Antifa he is, and all this other stuff. He's BLM. He's Antifa. Now, Jayden X himself, while watching the video, this is just live stream today. First of all, why am I talking about it? Because I noticed that he did a live promo for this live stream earlier today, like 4 hours from now. Watch me talk about Rudy Giuliani, talk about me. And that's been removed as well, as far as I can tell. But whenever I commented on there, of course, it's deleted. Enough other people comment that aren't quite as insightful as I am, but are criticizing him, maybe just plays stupid. Anyway, they've both been deleted, apparently, but he had this promo for it earlier this morning, and I thought, since they have their Trumpsurrection again planned for tomorrow, August 13th, that it would be his way of doing that. Now, I can't tell you that it wasn't, because I didn't watch the whole thing, and he could have been using codes or whatever to tell people, for their Trumpsurrection attempt on August 13th that the QAnon-type terrorists have been talking about. So, Jayden X has been speaking as if he's Antifa in some way, meaning been talking against Trump or posting things titled against Trump, things like that. And even back then, he was already like, let's do this against Trump. Although he's storming the Capitol with the Trumpers and cheering them on and saying we planned it and, doing everything they're doing or egging them on really in the most. He's the one whose video you've seen, egging on the girl, Ashley, who got shot. So the Trumpsurrectionist who got shot. So they're all Trumpsurrectionists. They're all Trumpers. Now, I knew he was a Trumper well before that, just by the way he talks, by his comments. And you can see, well, you can't see it now unless he re-uploads it, but his response to the Rudy Giuliani video, maybe this is why they deleted it, he made too many mistakes. But, his whole thing is a mistake. But his response to the Rudy Giuliani video, when Rudy Giuliani calls him a representative of Antifa, he says, well, as far as I know, they don't have representatives. That's so dumb because they don't have representatives. They, not we don't have representatives, they. So it's in his language, it's in some subtle things, but it's also really obvious, both in, you can see how he responds to people who would comment on, because most people who would comment on his channel in previous months were Trumpers. They were pro-Trump, and you could tell that he supported them, like cheered along with them and stuff in their sentiments that they expressed. Now Rudy Giuliani is focusing on videos where he's like claiming to be this black bloc anarchist, which isn't even Antifa, it's an anarchist, who are actually like little advertisements for the cops because they want to show up at protests and cause a lot of damage and destruction in order to scare everybody about any protest or any movement or gathering of people, in order to scare everybody and make people think, oh, cops need riot gear. So they're kind of like working with the cops, the black bloc anarchists. I mean, maybe to some extent they're working with protesters and stuff to actually protect protesters from abusive cops or Trumper terrorists in the area. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that in general, there's a lot of times when black bloc anarchists show up and cause trouble. And because they're all about completely hiding their identity, they could be from either side, or they could be causing destruction during a peaceful protest in order to make the protest look bad, or to make cop equipment and tactics seem justified. So the fact that he was demonstrating black bloc anarchist equipment in one of his videos, and Rudy Giuliani is focusing on that. And then he says himself, Jayden X says himself, I'm not with the BLM movement, and I'm not associated with these Utah people. He claims he's the only leftist who was arrested at the Capitol. He's not a leftist. Like, just his mentality, his sympathy, he's with Trump. He's just acting this way. Now, for now, I'm just going to say El Paso, Boston, and come back to that in a minute. But, you know, it is like a rap battle with him and Giuliani. Some of the other details about that was Rudy Giuliani goes to a commercial and he's like, oh, I'm not buying your gold, bitch. Like, that's the most anti-Giuliani thing he says in the whole video as far as I saw. He mostly tries to agree with Giuliani and like promote his ideas in some way, you know, like, because they're on the same side. Anyway, but he's like, I'm not buying your gold. And then he turns the volume back up to hear Giuliani's gold and silver pitch, and then just sarcastically, but just acts so excited about the gold and silver. And it's, you know, kind of advertising for it. Well, it is. And so that's the thing. They're showing each other stuff. If you consider that Putin or somebody in the KGB is writing, you know, the script for both of them, then it makes a lot more sense. And it's, you know, it's not that hard to see that anyway, just in the way they talk. Again, he doesn't represent anything. He's just one of these people posing as a leftist, because now he is officially posing as a leftist. Previously, he wasn't posing as a leftist. Previous to 2021, as far as I can tell, in 2020, in the months when I was watching him then, he was posing as like objective, or as I'm on both sides. I believe in gun rights, and I've got, you know, just this type of, you know, I'm on both sides type of person, kind of, which to me was, you know, disingenuous to begin with. You can't be on both sides of this type of thing. There is fascism. It is Trumper. And while he's calling it that now, he was actively promoting. Like, the last video I saw Jayden X do was one where he's telling people, hey, go troll these sites. And this is where you can find out where the White Lives Rally KKK march is going to be tomorrow or next week or whatever. But he's basically advertising it in the guise of acting like he's criticizing it. And, you know, I feel sorry for the guy. He's not associated with any of these groups. So when they associate him with the groups, he says himself, you know, I was the only leftist there. There weren't any. And then there is still a video that I saw on his page from about a month ago, which I guess is when Rudy Giuliani had made this video. I guess Rudy's video is older, but he's doing like a live reaction to Rudy's whole video and like laying everything out today, which has been removed. Or hidden, whatever. But he does have that clip of Rudy's video talking about him from about a month ago, where he titles it. So this is Jayden X's decision to title it this way, or, you know, Putin telling him how to title it, but you know what I'm saying. It's his choice on his channel to title it, Rudy Giuliani works with Antifa to do the January 6th Trumpsurrection. Now, Rudy Giuliani is saying, this guy did the Trumpsurrection. It wasn't Trump at the rally. It was this guy planning it in advance. You know, it's all a total psyops thing to let's muddy the waters, confuse things. Yeah, he might have been the only one even claiming to be a leftist even pretending to be the leftist in the Trumpsurrection mob. He's got that right. He's the only one arrested who's even claiming that. He's just not. Now, when I mentioned El Paso, Boston earlier, this is how these guys work. You had a KKK terrorist, Trumper terrorist, go into a Walmart and shoot people, targeting Mexican or Latino people in El Paso years ago. And that very same day, later that afternoon, and he killed a lot of people, a terrorist, a Trumper terrorist, a KKK person, expressing that that's what his intents were. And later that day, you had another terrorist shoot a few people, not kill as many people, but he shot people in Boston, and he was labeled as a leftist. Now, he wasn't a leftist. He maybe had made some types of posts that they could qualify as leftist. He's one of these, right-wing or KKK trolls that has been assigned to pose as a leftist to do this type of thing, just like Jayden X. That's why I mentioned that aspect, is as sick as it is, when you think about it, what they did was they had activated, or once one terrorist had taken a terrorist action in El Paso, they activated their second terrorist, or they activated both of them. They activated their second terrorist to be the leftist terrorist to balance it out later that day. It's disgusting and wrong, but it's what terrorists do. They terrorize people. So we've got to get over the terrorism. We've got to put all this stuff aside. And in the thick of it, Jayden X is saying personally he's not Black Lives Matter. He's basically admitting he's not Antifa, but he's not admitting that he's secretly a Trumper or secretly a Russian or whatever, working for Russia, or got switched over in the Olympics or something like that, or something terrible happened to him in the Olympics. As you can see in my rap Regutraitors Jayden X verse, I'm just guessing that something bad happened to him growing up in Utah, and now his brother is talking to Alex Jones. His brother is supposedly outing him. I don't know why it takes his brother to out him when anybody can find out who made his channel. Why did the FBI need anybody to out him? But his brother is supposedly outing him and making the media doing that. And then letting Alex Jones call him Antifa. So, he has another video about that, Jayden X does, where he's like, Alex Jones made me Antifa. And then he, mocks it and sarcastically flies off as Superman after playing the clip of his brother talking to Alex Jones, and Alex Jones saying the Antifa superhero Jayden X or something to suggest that. And, hey, creative guy, dude, use your creativity for something other than terrorism. And I wouldn't be, upset and disturbed that you're out running around free. But, here's the thing. I don't want anybody in jail, honestly. I want to reform everybody. I don't think jail is a good thing. I want everybody reformed. And terrorism is a big thing to reform from. But it's also like this whole network of brainwashing. The same people like protesting masks, all that stuff. So we've got to shut all this genocide, terrorism down. And I'm sorry this has gone long for Antifa News Briefa. But, he says nobody represents Antifa. Everybody represents Antifa. It's in everyone's heart to be against fascism. That's all that is. It's an ideology, right? Now, he's correct. It's not some type of group, and all the stuff Rudy Giuliani is saying is trying to portray him this way. But Rudy Giuliani is saying this stuff on his show to all these Trumper types who listen to him and believe what he says. Jayden X, John Sullivan's brother, I don't know his name, but he had suggested in one of these videos that Jayden X was trying to get himself killed by some type of mob to be a martyr. He won't be a martyr is the thing. He's a tragic case, and hopefully that doesn't happen. But it seems like at this point trying to stir up the idea that because he's so Antifa and he's the one who really committed the attack on the Capitol to make Trump look bad or something. When it's obviously opposite, the other way around. He's claiming this Antifa thing to make Antifa look bad, and so that Rudy Giuliani can do this, and so the trolls can muddy the waters and whatever, do all this, say all this stuff. So you can tell that's what's going on. You can tell that by the way he talks and what he says. Again, I've paid attention to it for a long time, so I hope you don't have to pay attention to it. And I don't know that you'll be able to see the things I just described to you, where he says, well, they don't do this. Antifa doesn't do this. But that's not, he didn't say we. He didn't say, he doesn't identify that way. And he lets that type of stuff slip. But the truth is, some of the worst stuff is he never challenges Giuliani. When Giuliani says something like, Trump had proof that the election was stolen from him, he pauses the video and says, well, I thought he said, I want proof. He said, no, I want to talk about his suit. And he talks about his suit, and he does all this distraction stuff from all the stuff that anyone would object to. So that's how you know it's really just a psyops thing. And if you see that type of video, really, if you watch any of his videos, you can tell. He mocks being in Antifa. You don't mock what you agree with. He's a Trumper. He doesn't want to admit it. That's the story. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Don't listen to Trumpers.